as if my chest was going to cave. The tears that fell left a stain, the world we know's enslaved. Now I know it's hard to hear, you better heed the words I say. If we don't act as one, you'll see the false prophets will betray.
Welcome to Resurrect the Republic. Resurrect the Republic on RBN. Good morning, America. Another day in the fine place that we like to call the Republic of the United States, but we all know, listen to my show, that more like an oligarchy. Today's subject is MK Ultra and mind control. Good morning, Bruce. How are you, sir?
Morning, neighbor.
How you doing down there in sunny Florida?
Oh, sweating. Got the AC on. I'm coming back from Hudson. Had to go pick up some wholesale stuff at the Sam's Club down there.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Oh,
Good,
I
man,
hate construction. I can't speed. I'm doing 50 all the way up the highway. I hate it.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'd like to think that everything bad happened after that 14th Amendment, but from where my research goes, and I've been up all night, not like I didn't know much about MK Ultra already, but I've been really digging into the origins, which go straight back to Adam Weishaupt and the Bavarian Illuminati. You know, there have been ritualistic child abuse. I believe President Clinton came out and finally had to apologize for some of the experimentation that had been taking part on the American people against their will, behind the back of the mainstream public and media. Of course, our media doesn't cover such things, really. You only really hear about that on alternative media. And it's gotten to the point where we don't know what we can believe. We don't know what we can believe we hear anymore. You know, the shooting that occurred, so many strange peculiarities that surround it. And I tell you, I've been poring over that most of the night, too. We have people there that admittedly had gone to the JFK Psychological Warfare Center. That's all can be found on resurrecttherepublic.com. There's an article there that I wrote and released. You can find it on my Facebook page, Thomas Robert Lacavera Stewart, or you can go the Twitter feed at Tom Lacavera, or you can go to resurrecttherepublic.com and click on the right there. You'll see under recent posts. We have a real serious problem going on because they're trying to paint the Patriot movement out, and it's so obvious with this situation with this shooter. Now, I'm not saying that necessarily that this did not happen. I'm not one of those that say that, you know, this is all staged, that it didn't happen. It happened, and there's really dead police officers here. This is nothing funny. But when you look at some of the things behind the scenes, there's a lot of concerning things. I was interviewed by Susanna Cole, the Pete Santilli show last night, and she brought up a very good point. And that is that one of the individuals that was there at the ranch with these Millers was a female from Las Vegas who they were staying with for the past 4 months, apparently at her place. And she had said that they were broke, flat busted, anything. Now, I don't know where this talk about this 45 ACP, there's been a lot of talk about it. I saw this guy with the gun out at the ranch briefly. I remember that I saw it because his behavior was disturbing. I talked to him, and he wasn't violent, but he was mumbling to himself in the chow hall there. He just didn't seem stable. And they were broke, flat, busted, broke. Now, how did he end up with all of these firearms that they ended up with? And apparently, the night before this is when this girl said that they really had nothing. And then the following morning, on the Sunday that this occurred, they had a shopping bag filled with ammunition. Now, all of us know that know anything about shooting, that ammunition is not cheap these days, not by a long shot. If they were flat broke, leading all the way up to this.
Tom.
Yeah.
Where do they find bullets at anyway? All the stores nowadays, it's almost impossible to find ammunition anywhere.
I know, that's what's concerning, because it wasn't just ammunition, but it was a shopping bag filled with ammunition, is what the report is, what was reported to me. So they go from not having a dime, not having any money at all, no work or income, it's to the point where they have to stay with this lady in Las Vegas, to all of a sudden having all of this ammunition. Now, I know it was reported that they took the officers' firearms and their ammunition off their belts, but if she said, like what she said was true, they both had guns. And by the way, it was not a murder-suicide, as doesn't appear as though it was a murder-suicide like the police had released either. So their story is starting to unravel. Apparently, Jared Miller was shot and killed with a .223, which, of course, neither one of them had an AR-15 or any kind of .223 caliber weapon. So it appears as though it was just a suicide. It looks like Amanda Miller delivered one shot to her own head and was still breathing when the police came on to her. She was sent to, I guess, an area hospital. Of course, she didn't make it. So, the initial reports of her shooting her husband, and then turning the gun on herself, completely untrue. If that's untrue, and that's a pretty significant detail, what else is untrue? Something that bothers me. They have all this time to throwing flags down and notes and all of this other crazy business, and then making it across the street. It's just something doesn't seem right to me with it all, especially there's the whole Joker connection. If anybody knows about ritualistic child abuse and the MK Ultra experiments, you'll know that the mind is a very easy thing to manipulate. When we get back, I have some things I want to share with you. I want you to learn about this. We return from Resurrect Republic.
Rising to the challenge is the first step that you take. Are you a free spirit or a slave? Are the institutions that have molded our...
Dozens of diseases ranging from the common cold and flu to MRSA and pneumonia are all caused by infectious pathogens that often get the upper hand on conventional medical treatments. Fortunately, a simple, safe, and effective alternative exists. Supernatural Silver is a new and vastly improved type of silver solution that is safe and extremely effective against 143 types of bacteria, both forms of viruses, mold and yeast, and a limited number of parasites. It can even purify water. Supernatural Silver comes in both liquid and gel for internal or external use. With over 180 scientific studies by independent universities, hospitals, research institutions, and nursing homes, Supernatural Silver is a powerful weapon in the fight against disease. To see how Supernatural Silver can give you and your loved ones protection and peace of mind, go to supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PROTECTED for 20% off and like us on Facebook.
Do you love America? Do you support the right to bear arms? Do you have an opinion on the current immigration issue? Do you believe in the dollar? You have a voice. You have an opinion. Let it be heard. Go to AmericanFreedomSurvey.com right now and make your voice count. Do you like your rights taken away for the so-called sake of public safety? Do you want to repeal Obamacare? Go to AmericanFreedomSurvey.com today and fight back. All you have to do is fill out a short survey and you're done. Simple, easy, fast. For your time, you get entered to win free gold and silver. That's right. Get gold and silver free by filling out this short survey that enters you to win. AmericanFreedomSurvey.com. Go to AmericanFreedomSurvey.com today. That's AmericanFreedomSurvey.com.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
Welcome back, Resurrect the Republic. Now, what I'm going to be playing for you guys, I want to give you the background. A lot of people who may not understand about MK Ultra. I want you to take a listen and tell me what you think about this. You can contact me at Tom Lackabear at ResurrectRepublic.com, RTR Media, TruthMedia.com. Go ahead.
Tell you the complete story of these activities. We are professing to tell you the complete story that we know. Right. But these records that we've uncovered don't tell the story. They tell pieces of it.
This is a story that has been told in bits and pieces. This is an attempt to pull most of it together. We know we don't have the full story. We do, however, have some striking new revelations and insights. The story begins here, just off the nation's front yard, the Mall. The buildings behind me were the headquarters for the World War II Office of Strategic Services. It was here that the first halting steps toward mind control began. The shaper and molder of OSS was General Wild Bill Donovan. He said of his group's work, "We may have made mistakes, but we were not afraid to try things that were never done before." In this anything-goes atmosphere, Donovan appointed this man, Stanley Lovell, a Boston industrialist, to break new ground in many scientific and technical fields. Donovan called Lovell his Dr. Moriarty, after the fiendish professor in Sherlock Holmes. Lovell liked the name and posed for this Saturday Evening Post photo. He later wrote of his OSS job that it was, quote, to stimulate the PEC's bad boy beneath the surface of every American scientist and to say to him, throw all of your normal law-abiding concepts out of the window. Here's a chance to raise merry hell. It was in this atmosphere that the search for mind control began. This bizarre man would be an active participant in that search over the next 2 decades. His name is George White, an OSS captain who had formerly been with the Bureau of Narcotics. In his diary, seen here publicly for the first time, White left a legacy of the darker side of American intelligence work. He received his early OSS training at the British-run school at Oshawa, Canada, the same school where Ian Fleming, the creator of James Bond, was trained. White referred to the school in his diaries as the Oshawa School of Mayhem and Murder. Mike Burke, former OSS colleague of White's and now president of Madison Square Garden Center.
Very compelling fellow, mysterious fellow, almost mystical fellow. He was fascinating because you knew something about him, but not enough about him to really get a fix on him. He also knew a great deal about the swifter elements of society, the gamier side of life, and he was very impressive in his technical knowledge of the underworld, so to speak.
He said one of our men gets beat up. He says you have to act real fast and teach these guys a lesson.
Charles Siragusa, a former narcotics officer and friend of White's.
He'll come around, he says, and break your kneecaps. And with that, one guy laughed, and George White always had a little Billy with him. And this one guy sort of naked. George White turned around and whapped him across the neck with it. Then he picked up a pool stick and started beating everybody up.
He made his point.
And he made his point.
George White was not a man of understatement or subtleties. His boss at OSS, Stanley Lovell, referred to him as deadly and dedicated. In this note from White's diaries, it says, "Call Lovell regarding TD." TD was a rather transparent cover for Truth Drug. George White worked with the Truth Drug Committee here at St. Elizabeth's Hospital in the nation's capital. They experimented with mescaline, scopolamine, and marijuana on unwitting victims. The committee soon learned there was no easy panacea, no truth drug at this stage. But White and later colleagues would not stop trying. The goal remained the same. As this 1952 CIA memo says, the aim is controlling an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will, and even against such fundamental laws of nature as self-preservation. But it was a discovery here in Basel, Switzerland, at Sandoz Laboratories by Dr. Albert Hoffman, that led the intelligence agencies of America to believe that they had found the panacea. The discovery was lysergic acid diethylamide, LSD. The film that you see is considered by many experts to be the closest illustration of the effects of a hallucinogenic.
It was one of the first times that anybody had run into a powerful drug that was different than anything else that they knew anything about.
John Gittinger, recently retired chief psychologist for the CIA. This is the first time Gittinger has been interviewed publicly.
We could disable a whole city by putting a very small amount on a water supply. After all of these years of us, those of us who are involved in looking for this secret drug, this was the only thing that began to look for the first time like it might be something like that.
The CIA's interest in LSD was intense. The worry was that the Russians would get hold of it. Were the Soviets into LSD?
I'm going to have to say I'm sure they were, but if you ask me to prove it, I've never seen any direct proof of it.
But at one point, intelligence information received from Switzerland said that Sandoz Laboratories was about to put 100 million doses of LSD on the open market. And it caused enough concern within the agency that the United States was prepared to buy the entire supply. However, a slight mistake had been made. The mistake is made public for the first time.
I just found out on a new CIA document that there were no such large quantities of LSD on the market.
John Marks has filed numerous Freedom of Information suits against the CIA and has unearthed much new material. He is the author of The Search for the Manchurian Candidate, a history of intelligence agency work with mind control. He is a consultant for this report.
What happened is that there was a military attaché in Switzerland, an American officer, who got milligrams and kilograms mixed up. In other words, he made a mistake of thinking 1/1000th of a gram was the same as 1,000 grams, which is a mistake of 1,000,000 times. So when the CIA got the intelligence that there were 100 million doses on the market, in fact, there were 100 doses.
The man who would oversee the CIA's research into drugs and most of the agency's behavior programs is this man, Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, a chemist. Dr. Gottlieb declined ABC News' request for an interview. In their never-ending search for the miracle weapon, CIA operatives searched here in the remote mountain areas of southern Mexico for what up to then had been considered a myth, magic mushrooms. They used this man, a part-time chemist for the CIA, to dupe this man, a vice president of a bank and an amateur mycologist or mushroom expert, to try to get to the magic mushrooms and turn them into a drug. But it would be the amateur, R. Gordon Wasson and his colleagues, who would win the race and develop the drug psilocybin from the magic mushrooms.
We went into the Mazatec area, far from the highways, remote from Mexico City. There we found that rotten bagasse, as it's called, bagasso, covered with mushrooms. These mushrooms I didn't know, had never seen. They were the sacred mushrooms.
Wasson would also discover and record the ancient mystical rites of the mushrooms from the local shaman or magical priestess, Maria Sabina.
And we were seeing incredible sights. They would go slowly or they would go fast as I ordained. All your senses are rendered acute. We say that you see visions, you see hallucinations, but that doesn't begin to tell this story. The hallucinations are only part of it. You hear sounds, you smell things.
Have you ever asked yourself why things never change? The rhetoric they...
We'll be back after a few words from our sponsors and take some callers on Resurrect the Republic.
The illusion they create for the puppet strings that seal our fate.
There are many water filters to choose from, but there is only one system that is consistently customer rated 5 stars as the #1 system for effective filtration of fluoride, radiation, drug residues, heavy metals, a wide range of radioisotopes, and more. Introducing the Pure Effect Ultra, the next generation water filter that also raises alkaline pH, improves antioxidant potential, and has advanced anti-radiation technology, all while using no electricity. Sold worldwide, it provides virtually instant clean water on demand. It is not made in China, and the shipping is free to all 50 states. Buy your Pure Effect Ultra today by visiting pureeffectfilters.com. or call 888-891-4821. Again, that's 888-891-4821. Or visit pureeffectfilters.com.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
It's time to utilize your Second Amendment right. No better way than at Knob Creek Gun Range. Check out the large variety with over 3,000 guns in stock. Also reloading supplies, ammunition, and low admission. Only $10 per person per day. $5 for children 12 and under. And 50% off for active duty and retired military with valid ID. If you don't own any firearms, no problem. You can rent one of ours. Knob Creek Gun Range supplies all your shooting needs. Go to knobcreekrange.com for more information. Range memberships are available. Visit knobcreekrange.com today.
I'm Larry Pratt of Gun Owners of America, and I want to invite you to join the Second Amendment movement with Gun Owners of America, the only no-compromise gun lobby in Washington. Take action by becoming a GOA member today by going to gunowners.org. Gun Owners members receive the GOA newsletter, fact sheets, alerts, certificates, and more. But there's more to joining GOA than just a list of member benefits. The united voice of GOA members has been successful in defeating restrictive legislation designed to disarm our population. GOA has helped to get strong constitutional members of Congress like Senator Ted Cruz elected. And with your help, GOA will continue to successfully defend the rights of gun owners in the courts. Participate in our efforts to restore and preserve the nation's right to keep and bear arms. All contributions to our lobbying efforts are used exclusively to support or oppose firearms legislation. Join online at gunowners.org.
Herbal Healer Academy presents its spring specials. All sizes of our 500 parts per million colloidal silver are on sale, along with products to help you lose weight, like apple cider vinegar, Hoodia, Metabolic Complex, and Pro Metabolic. That's not all. Anti-Parasite Intestinal Freedom, Wormwood Plus Complex, Stevia Liquid Sweetener, and the Super Enzymes are on sale. Visit herbalhealer.com to order yours. Request our free 128-page catalog. Healing the world with nature, one person at a time. herbalhealer.com.
Hi, my name is David Merlin from takefromcaesar.us. Income is defined in the tax code. All property is a cost, including labor, according to statute. You're deprived of the provisions of Section 83 whenever you pay an income tax on your compensation. According to Section 83, only the excess over the amount paid is gross income. The government can't so much as provide an interpretation of Section 83 of its own. Get your paradigm shift and understanding today at takefromcaesar.us.
The current declaration of martial law and coup in Thailand, while significantly impacting tourism, has been met by expats and in-country tourists with a what coup attitude. While internal political changes must be made before the upcoming elections, the curfew is now largely ignored in tourist areas. Translation: great hotels and cheap flights at unheard-of savings. Veterans, VA lost your paperwork again? Visit AsiaRunLikeHellGuide.com for life-saving treatments and surgery at fractions of U.S. prices. And a really cool vacation afterwards. Hit us up at AsiaRunLikeHellGuide.com.
Welcome back to Resurrect the Republic, resurrecttherepublic.com. And you guys, do me a favor. We have no corporate sponsors. If you like what you hear, please go to resurrecttherepublic.com. On the right-hand side of the page, there's a PayPal button. We need your support. The only way this broadcast continues is with public support. So I'm still out here in Arizona, close to the Bundys. I'll be headed back home. We could use your help because we're raising money to put together our media bus. It's already purchased, and we already have it, and now we're outfitting it so that we can go from place to place and report on these different incidences that happen around the country that are of great concern. Anyway, that being said, we have a few callers. Greg in Las Vegas. Greg, how are you?
Morning, Tom. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Yeah, has Chris called in this morning or no?
He hasn't called in this morning. I was speaking to him rather late in the evening last night as he was working on an article. So I'm sure we'll probably hear from him. If not today, we'll probably hear from him tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I was hoping he'd call in.
I know.
Did he mention the latest update of the observation that the news here is saying about how the male was killed? Have you heard the update on that?
Yes, I did mention that the male was killed with the 223 from. It looks as though the coroner couldn't comment because of the ongoing investigation, but it looks like the cause of death was from 223, and neither one of them had anything with 223 in it. So, yeah, we did hear that.
Yeah, I heard you mention that. I just wondered because what they're saying this morning is it looks like the police have done it. So
yes.
That's what they're updating here. I didn't know if you had heard that far.
Well, I imagined that because of the rounds, but that's good. It's good to get fresh updates from Las Vegas. Anything that you have, you can contact me. If you call
what
in,
is your email again?
It's the one that's working best for us right now is rtrtruthmedia at gmail.com. I kind of got inundated with a lot of emails and all at once in the Resurrect the Republic gmail.com account. So we have a couple people actually going through those today and trying to clean that out. But if you want to get something to me quick, it's rtrtruthmedia@gmail.com. I set that up for this, situation.
Could you repeat that slower? RT what?
RTR Truth Media at gmail.com. You also do me a favor and leave your number with the producer, and I'll give you a call after the show.
Okay. Yeah, I did that before, but on the beginning of the Bundy thing. But yeah, I guess you never got back to me.
I probably didn't. I probably didn't get it. Yeah, it was a really crazy time, and I was out in the field, and I saw this guy out there, and he was mumbling to himself. He wasn't stable. And then here's something else that I want the public to understand: the mainstream media in April they did an interview with this guy. It was the only one that they highlighted on their segment of the news that day, and he was standing there wearing Chief Gillespie's opponent's T-shirt.
Oh, no, really?
Yes, sir. Not only was he wearing the opponent's T-shirt, but this particular individual came all the way out to do an interview. Gordon Martinez is running for sheriff against Gillespie. He came out specifically to the hotel in Mesquite. I met with him at the Virgin River Hotel. With the Citizens Action Network, we have video. I'll post it on resurrectrepublic.com. It's already uploaded to YouTube. But the thing that bothers me is that Gordon Martinez didn't feel comfortable as running for sheriff going out to the location. Now, if he didn't have any T-shirts with him, he didn't have anything like that when he came to do the interview. He didn't go out to the Bundy property. And here's this guy wearing a brand new crisp white T-shirt of Sheriff Gillespie's opponent, and doing the only one highlighted doing this mainstream media interview. And this guy ends up being a shooter in Las Vegas. Something about that just does not seem right to me.
You mean the Millers? The Millers was wearing a T-shirt like that?
Yeah, yes. Jared Miller was doing the interview wearing a Gordon Martinez for sheriff T-shirt. Now, you have to understand the Millers out there. They had nothing. They had no money. They were kind of disheveled looking. They really were kind of, to be honest with you, kind of dirty and unkept looking. I never saw him wearing that T-shirt. I did an interview. The guy came all the way out from Vegas out to Mesquite to do an interview with me about running for sheriff against Gillespie. He didn't have any T-shirts that I saw with him.
Martinez?
Right. Now, it just seemed to me a little bit too convenient. Now,
are you questioning Martinez now, Tom?
No, I'm not questioning Martinez. I'm questioning why the mainstream media would do an interview with the guy that ends up being a Vegas killer of basically, sheriff's men, wearing the sheriff competitor's T-shirt on a mainstream media interview. The most unstable individual on the entire property was there for a short amount of time.
Right.
It just something doesn't seem right to me about that. It seems to me like Gordon Martinez is there's an effort to try and discredit his name. Yeah.
Right, yeah. I was going to ask you which sheriff that was, because I heard that interview you did with Mr. Martinez, and I have a very close friend here. I haven't met with him yet, but he recommends another guy. I don't know if it's the two that are in the primary, but it's not Martinez, and I was surprised because there's another Hispanic female. There used to be a reporter named Terry Anderson, or he did talk radio out of Los Angeles on illegal immigration. I used to be with INS back in the 80s, and so I was very attuned to his show, and then he died. And this other female Hispanic woman does a lot of, her name is Rita, and she does a lot of interviews in Mexico with Telemundo and things like that. So she'd be one that, you might want to talk to if there's a Mexican connection of any aspect of what's going on around here, she would be, and I'll talk to her and see if, she will talk to you and see if she knows anything around the cartel aspect, because she knows what's going on in Mexico. Wasn't Drew Rains, but all I'm saying is that, Chris is our Walter Cronkite here. And, I mean, if Chris doesn't know it, nobody knows it, usually. And he's just on top of everything like my ex, or never mind, I better not go there on that joke. But, it's kind of like what Bill Clinton does, Tom. And, I mean, I would not lie about it. I mean, Deanna Spingola knows Bill Clinton. But anyway, my point is that, I've been watching it, through Chris and his emails, and then I've got this Metro captain who's a friend of mine, as I say, and he wants to know what's what too. But the bottom line is, I was going to question Martinez if that was the sheriff candidate. You still trust him then?
What, Gordon Martinez?
Yeah, Martinez to run. I mean,
absolutely, absolutely.
Genuine?
If I had to vote for somebody, I would vote Martinez. I sat down and talked with the man, and I think that the man, he's the detective that arrested O.J. Simpson.
That's right.
Yes, and he is he's experienced. He's an experienced lawman. He's also of some sorts of whistleblower. He doesn't put up with lies and all of the corruption. He's made it very clear that he is fully aware of the corruption that is in that department. Yeah. So
that's what worries me about him. That he's a lone whistleblower, and I'm just concerned about his.
They tried taking him out once. He was shot while he was riding his motorcycle, and this guy he gets shot.
Did?
Yeah, they shot him. This is going some time back. It's on the interview. I have recorded. But he was shot. It was with the 22. You know what he did? He rode home. They didn't manage to do enough damage to him to knock him off the bike or to kill him, but he was still shot. I mean, this guy, he's a pretty tough character. He's a constitutionalist. The Citizens Action Network met with him, and he signed his reaffirmation of oath, of his constitutional oath. He's a strict constitutionalist. So, I'm not, I'm not the mouthpiece for him, but if I had to vote, that's where my vote would be. We'll be back with a few more callers after a few words from our sponsors on Resurrect the Republic.
The IRS is a private corporation, not a government agency. Income tax is collected by voluntary compliance. To learn to unvolunteer or discontinue volunteering into the IRS, visit escapeharassment.com and immediately implement Strategy 1. The process must be repeated each and every time. Paper, letter, envelope, presentment, etc. Always and forever. Failure equates to acceptance, subsequent resultant contract, and you pay or go to jail by your own consent and agreement contract. Avoid recontracting. Visit escapeharassment.com and implement Strategy 1 immediately. Bar lawyers and accountants won't help you. Why wait? Get Strategy 1 and immediately implement it to divorce the IRS today and forever. That's escapeharassment.com, Strategy 1, to be free from the IRS. escapeharassment.com.
Whew, nice shooting. Hey, that's a sweet AK-47 chest rig. Is that multicam?
Yep, got it from StrikeHardGear.com.
Strike what?
StrikeHardGear.com.
Set your sights on StrikeHardGear.com. Tough, tactical gear for your Soviet-style weapon that's made in the USA. Affordable, plus a no-questions-asked 30-day money-back guarantee and lifetime replacement warranty. StrikeHardGear.com. Go ahead. Pull the trigger.
There are many water filters to choose from, but there is only one system that is consistently customer rated 5 stars as the #1 system for effective filtration of fluoride, radiation, drug residues, heavy metals, a wide range of radioisotopes, and more. Introducing the Pure Effect Ultra, the next generation water filter that also raises alkaline pH, improves antioxidant potential, and has advanced anti-radiation technology, all while using no electricity. Sold worldwide, it provides virtually instant clean water on demand. It is not made in China, and the shipping is free to all 50 states. Buy your Pure Effect Ultra today by visiting pureeffectfilters.com or call 888-891-4821. Again, that's 888-891-4821 or visit pureeffectfilters.com.
World-renowned physician and stem cell expert Dr. David Steenblock, D.O., and his research staff have spent years developing all-natural formulations that support the body's own stem cell production and mobilization system. An everyday stem cell supplement, creating the birth of Stemgevity. Stemgevity stem cell mobilization formula is for use by men, women, and children of all ages to support your body's stem cell system naturally, quickly, and safely. Stemgevity helps support your heart and circulatory system, bones and joints, liver, skin, brain, and much more. Order your bottle now at stemgevity.com today. That's STEMGEVITY, stemgevity.com. Or call now toll-free, 800-300-1063. Buy 2 bottles and receive a 3rd bottle free by mentioning RBN. Anyone who wants to get healthy needs Stemgevity. Call 800-300-1063 today.
Herbal Healer Academy presents its spring specials. All sizes of our 500 parts per million colloidal silver are on sale, along with products to help you lose weight, like apple cider vinegar, Hoodia, Metabolic Complex, and Pro Metabolic. That's not all. Anti-Parasite Intestinal Freedom, Wormwood Plus Complex, Stevia Liquid Sweetener, and the Super Enzymes are on sale. Visit herbalhealer.com to order yours. Request our free 128-page catalog. Healing the world with nature one person at a time. herbalhealer.com.
Welcome back to Resurrect the Republic, resurrecttherepublic.com on RBN. Just real quick before we get back to the subject, I'll be highlighting this tomorrow with the video on resurrecttherepublic.com. The NSA, we're too big to comply with court orders. National Security Agency refused to comply with a federal judge this week, arguing that they are just too big and complex to do so. Responding to a court ruling that demanded the agency stop destroying evidence related to domestic surveillance, the NSA claimed that compliance with that court order would be a massive and uncertain endeavor, likely resulting in severe operational difficulties that could jeopardize national security. My response to this, and you can find that and before we publish it on resurrecttherepublic.com as Daily Paul. Thank you, Daily Paul. Is that if you become too big to comply with the courts, well, of course, we know that these courts aren't particularly the most lawful creation, 14th Amendment jurisdiction. You know our research. It's all on resurrecttherepublic.com. But if you become an agency that's too big to comply, and what you're doing is too massive an endeavor to comply with the judge's court order, you need to be dismantled. That's ridiculous. Anyway, we're going to get back to a couple callers. We have Fred in Iowa. Fred, how are you?
Hi, Tom and Bruce.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I just got a warning shot across town.
Uh-oh.
I had to self-censor, so I will just say my country, my government, right or wrong. There is no MK Ultra, so I will have to delete 40 or 50 hours of MK Ultra off my computer. Watch your man. And Tom, if you can, give me a call after you get into the show. Bye.
Leave your number, sir. Leave your number.
Okay.
Well, I have my own views on MK Ultra. I do know. Well, you can call it. There's many things that you can call these mind control experiments that were conducted under the CIA. There was a number of black projects, and we're going to be getting into that. We want to dig into that. I have some guests coming on. Anthony J.Hilder, who has been what I consider the father of the whistleblower movement. We're going to get back to a couple callers. We have Brett in Iowa. I don't know what that's going on, but we can kill that noise. Anyway, Anthony J.Hilder, who released the Myron Fagan Illuminati recordings, we spoke at length, and we're going to be speaking again regarding this subject. He's had a little bit of a hard time. He had a stroke, and he's okay, everyone, but he's recovering from that, and it's really taking a toll on him. So we're going to be highlighting an interview I did with Anthony J.Hilder. For all of you that don't know who Anthony J.Hilder is, I urge you to Google his name. You should know who he is, because most of the work that has come from this whistleblowing movement was began by this man. He was a personal friend of Ted Gunderson. Ted Gunderson, who is a man who there's controversy about, but I happen to highly respect. Well, anyway, you'll hear it. We'll be publishing the interviews on ResurrectRepublic.com with Anthony J.Hilder regarding these occult, satanic involvement of these mind control experiments with basically occult rituals that were turned into a pseudoscience and absorbed into the psychology profession. But Fred, I appreciate your call. John in Tennessee. John, are you there?
Hey, Tom, let's get back to the satanic ritual abuse
and
mind control, okay? First
Sure.
of all, I know that a friend of mine was in the Army in the 70s. He was given LSD. He volunteered for it because he was patriotic.
Yes.
You know, Tom, the rich, the wealthy, those in Hollywood and music, their children are used and have been for years.
Oh, yes.
I want to offer up something about Paul Simon. You listen to his music. Read you one quick paragraph from a song called The Sounds of Silence, and then I'll make one other comment. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sounds of silence. So I believe that he was telling anyone that could have ears to hear
Yes.
what was going on. He came out
Yes.
with another song, Tom, that I think applies to the 14th Amendment. It's called 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover.
Yeah.
And I'm serious, man.
I know you are. I don't laugh because I think it's funny that I know.
You know, there must be 50 ways to leave your lover. He's warning, and it goes on in the Sound of Silence. You know, there's actually another one that talks about another verse in here. Listen, and in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that never share, that voices never share, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence.
Yes.
Talks about the words of the prophets being written on the subway walls, and tenement halls. This stuff is real. We are dealing with a Luciferian government that has so well trained and so well mind controlled the populace. They don't need drugs, Tom. They use.
No, I know. I'm aware of that, and you know, a lot of my listeners, they're not aware, and there's actually many people that aren't aware of a little bit of my background that I can't really get into. But there were some rough times that I had as a young man, and I'm not really going to get into detail with that, except to tell you this, because the forces that be, these satanic forces that be, the ones behind this Luciferian agenda, they know who I am, and I have been working for some time
assisting with someone who has taught me how to deprogram. And I'm working with someone right now as we speak. And I can assure my public, I'm not insane, this exists. If you look back to the Presidio, there's a reason why, people, that I am so involved with being a wart on Colonel Aquino's rear end. Okay?
Tom, there is a reason that when I went in the military and you went into the military, one of the first things they did, you got to get your vaccinations, you got to have your shots, we got to give you your drugs, and everywhere you went was your shot record. There was more than trying to keep you safe, folks, because your body is this amazing thing that compounds chemicals, and it bioaccumulates chemicals, and they were actually performing, according to the Bible, the Bible calls it sorcery, but that root word is pharmacology. It's not craft. It is pharmakia, and they're performing pharmakia on the military that have entered in either through a draft or volunteering. And you're told, when I volunteered, hey, you don't belong, you're ours. For the next 4 years, you belong to us. And they meant it.
Yes, I'm aware of that. And that's why, I've been a little bit, I draw fire for this, but, being involved with the going after Aquino and the General Vallely angle, and I'm not going to openly come out and say that these people are, Aquino, yeah, but Vallely, look, I have my own personal beliefs. I'm not going to sit here and say that the man is something that I cannot prove, but I do know this. Anyone who would take the time to read the piece of work that was never supposed to see the public, from PSYOP to Mind War, very disturbing. So, to the callers we didn't get to, please call back tomorrow because we're going to pick up where we left off today. God bless you. We'll see you next time. Resurrect the Republic.
We the people, we surround.